Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, I think. Don't know what day it is, but I think it's Thursday. Anyways, this video is probably going to go up on both of my channels, the Arizona Unplugged and also Backcountry Preps, because it has something to do with homesteading and prepping. So the title of this video is Preppers versus Homesteaders, which is the path that will best suit you in an emergency situation, long-term, grid down, whatever the case may be. Now, I was considering putting hoarder into the title as well, you know, hoarders versus preppers versus homesteaders, but I think I tend to think more that if you're a hoarder, you have more of a mental issue than an issue of wanting to be prepared. You know, as a service plumber, I'm in different people's homes every single day. I've seen the most immaculate apartments you can ever go into, and I've seen the most disgusting places you don't even want to set your tool bag down because the roaches will get inside and then you'll take them home. So there's a swath of different levels of people's mental standing. And when you go into a home, a person's apartment that are hoarders, you know there's a mental problem there. You know, I'm in them all the time, and it's sad, especially if there's kids there. So I left out hoarders because that's not really in my opinion, it's not really a person that's preparing for an emergency situation. They're just crazy. So I left that one out. So preppers versus homesteaders. What group of people are more likely to survive better and longer in a SHTF scenario, grid down scenario, World War III, whatever it is, asteroid hits the planet, whatever. So let's define both groups, preppers and homesteaders. Preppers, like probably most of you guys watching this video right now, think and act like it's a good idea to be prepared for unforeseen circumstances. A lot of this includes stockpiling non-perishable food, you know, finding ways to preserve food, loading up on different survival items, you know, guns and ammo, food, water, the ability to filter water. A lot of preppers will have things on hand like paperback survival books, long-term cold and hot weather clothing. They will stockpile medications that they may need or that their family or friends may need. They stockpile things for their pets, their animals. You know, name it, they've got it. What's the famous saying? One is none, two is one, or two is one is none. You know, when you look at it, glass half empty, whatever. You know, they have tools. They have, some of them have even building materials stockpiled, vehicle parts, you know, things to do oil changes for their vehicles. And Jiffy Lube and all those guys are down. You know, they have, a lot of them have a lot of redundancy in their preps. They have things that will back up other things. They have things that have multiple uses. I mean, it's just all around a great idea to be a prepper, honestly. It is, you know, like we've been saying for years, prepping is like buying insurance that you never lose out on. Because at the end of the day, if nothing else comes up, you can always use your preps. You can always eat your food, you can always shoot your guns, you can always sell your silver, whatever. It's an insurance. For smart people, that's what they do. Now, what's a homesteader? A homesteader is a person, typically, more often than not, have a piece of property that they are growing their own food, raising their own livestock, having, again, redundant systems to be able to survive if the grid was to go down, if, you know, either man-made or naturally made disasters or emergencies. They don't need the store, they don't need the power company, they don't need the gas company. They don't need that stuff because they are set up on their property to survive without many things that most people in the world need to survive, i.e. big cities with sanitation, pressurized water that's been clean, I guess. You know, I don't drink city water, but I guess you could for a while until your body says no more, I don't know. But homesteaders typically will create their own necessities, whereas preppers will purchase their own necessities and stack them, preserve them. And here's a good saying, you might want to remember this. All homesteaders are preppers, but not all preppers are homesteaders. Get what I'm saying? If you're a homesteader, you not only know how to preserve what you create, i.e. food, livestock, know how to raise and breed your farm animals to be able to continue to reproduce without outside help. You know, this is stuff they've done for thousands of years, in all of human history. You know, whereas prepping, they didn't have Walmarts 1,000 years ago. They didn't have grocery stores. You weren't really a prepper in the current definition. You just survived. You just found what you needed to eat and you ate it. Whereas a homesteader will create what they need, what they know they will need in the fall, in the spring, in the summer, in the winter. They will create it. They will grow their own gardens. They will raise their own livestock. You know, on top of that, in this day and age, being a homesteader that is also a prepper, you know, it is, in my opinion, the best. So to answer the question of the title, what's better, you know, homesteader or prepper? In my opinion, it's a homesteader, because a homesteader is not only a homesteader, he's both. He's a prepper as well. Whereas if you're just a prepper living in the city and you're stacking up cans of beans, it's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, which group of people have a higher success rate in an SHTF scenario? In my opinion, it is the homesteader, because he or she or they not only are homesteaders creating what they need, but they're also preppers gathering what they need and stacking it. That's my opinion on this. Tell me what you guys think. Who has the higher chance of survival? Your normal definition of a prepper or your normal definition of a homesteader? Again, my opinion is the homesteader, because he's a prepper as well. You know, a lot of people think, well, I've got 3 years worth of freeze-dried food. I'm a prepper and that's what I'm going to need. I've got a Berkey water filter and that's it, I'm good. That's great. You're head and heels above most people. Most people don't have 3 years worth of food. However, my question to you is, if that's your mindset, what happens after the 3rd year? If you're not producing food and there's nothing available on the shelves, you will starve. As a prepper, you will starve as soon as you run out of your preps. It is imperative that you learn how to garden, that you learn animal husbandry. It is imperative, because no one can stockpile. I guess you can. If you had warehouses full of MREs, I guess you can stockpile enough food to feed you and your family until you're underground. That's rare though, because that stuff is not cheap. Most people don't have resources that can afford a warehouse full of, MREs. Most people don't. If you're a prepper and you consider yourself a prepper and a prepper only, that is awesome. You're doing more than most people out there. That is to be commended, no doubt. But if you have the ability, if you have the resources to become a homesteader, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, I think you're head and heels above any prepper that's out there. If you have a piece of land, hopefully away from high population areas, and you have the knowledge and the ability to run that homestead like a food creating, water purifying, medicine making area. I mean, you're so far ahead of the curve. As you guys know, especially those that are watching over at Arizona Unplugged right now, we do have a homestead. It's not it's livable. I could live there right now if I wanted to. But when you have a wife, you got kids, you have businesses and responsibilities, you know, you got to plan things out for the perfect time, because that in and of itself can dictate whether or not it will succeed or fail. And I want it to succeed, so my main thing is I have to get our old dilapidated cabin that we bought up to snuff, make it more livable, and we are almost there, guys. We are almost there. I'm starting to think about paint colors. We're that close. So we do have a homestead. Are we producing food yet? Nope. All we're doing right now is repairing the things that are there to make life a little bit easier. And at the end of the day, we're still going to work every day here in town. Shots aren't being fired. There's still food on the shelf, so we still have time. So right now, do I really consider myself a homesteader? Not really. I'm preparing our homestead. It's almost there. But right now, I'm just a prepper. You know, buying and stacking what I can. You know, there's a video I want to make about vehicles for homesteaders or preppers. You know, what is your vehicle like? Are you able to go off-road? Are you able to get out of bad situations if you're in an area where there's no help? That's a prep that a lot of people overlook. Is how are you going to get from point A to point B? I think prepping is great. I think being a prepper is great. I think it's smart. It shows that you care about yourself and your family and their futures. At the end of the day, though, I think all preppers may want to consider having the goal of becoming a homesteader, because that's a prepper that creates his own preps that he can stack. And I think that's the best way. I mean, what's better, to have a handful of gold coins or to be able to make gold coins whenever you want? You see what I'm getting at? Smell what I'm stepping in here, son? So it should be our goal as a prepper to become a homesteader, if at all possible. Now I know, you know, you're like, well, that's a lot of money, a lot of time. I don't have the resources. I get it. What you may want to do if you're in that position is you may want to try to make contact with a homesteader and see if you can offer your services, your skills, your abilities, or your preps in exchange to be on or near their homestead. Really important. I know there's a lot of folks out there, possibly me being even one of them, that would take on some preppers on my homestead for the extra sets of hands. You know, communities are stronger than individuals, in my opinion. A lot of you guys I know are lone wolf types, and that's fine. For me personally, I don't think it's as sustainable as being part of a group or a community. Having a strong community on a homestead full of people with skills, survival skills, life skills, even skills that are a little bit more benign, maybe like teaching skills, taking care of children skills, sanitation skills, being able to clean, being able to cook, being able to garden, being able to sew, being able to teach the kids. And these are all skills that are valuable. Don't count yourself out if you don't have buckets of food and safes full of firearms. Don't count yourself out. You still have value. You just got to sell that value to the person that you want to have them take you in. Just some thoughts, guys. You know, in your opinion, what do you think is most beneficial, being a prepper or being a homesteader? Once again, to reiterate this, I think it is the latter. Being a homesteader, you're a prepper and a homesteader, whereas just being a prepper, you're just a prepper. Which, once again, is a great thing, but yada, yada, yada. So there you go, guys. I hope all is well. I know I haven't been putting up a lot of videos lately. It is what it is. We've just been super, super busy. That's all I can doing great, I think. In my opinion, we're doing really well as far as transitioning from, you know, career throughout my life to kind of retiring out in the mountains of Arizona. So there you go, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I will do my best to put up some more videos. Until then, I'm going to drive. See you on the next one.